business, fellas. Look here. Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Joy Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the power band, this is The Blah. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Wolverine, along with my super friends, Jar Higo.
Hello.
And Orange Sassy Squirrel.
What is up?
Welcome to the podcast, folks. This week we are talking about the 19-something... What year did this movie come out?
88?
What? This is an 80s movie?
91. Early death.
91. 1991 classic, The Last Boy Scout, starring show favorite Bruce Wilson. There you go. There's a first so out of the gate death, dude.
Friend of the show. I'm going to fuck it up.
Friend of the show, show favorite Bruce Willis.
Bruce Wilson.
And Damon Wayans. And a lot of other great actors. We'll get into that later. Folks, welcome. Let's start the show.
Welcome to the Hard-Boiled Detective Movie Podcast.
Because that's all we've done lately.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was a bit of an audible. Chucked it in there. I've been thinking about it for the last year, and we've been tinkering with it, but it finally just fell into an open slot in the schedule. And I definitely think in hindsight it's fallen into a slot surrounded by a lot of hard-boiled detective movies, so I kind of have post-watching regret that I chose this particular time to view this, but at the same time, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Before we start the show, I got to share a show-related, a real-world nugget. So when we did the Stallone's mini-sode, nobody mentioned the track Double Dusted, I don't think. Did any of you guys mention that track that was on the new album?
No, but I think I know where you're going with this.
Where am I going with this?
Did you cameo?
Yeah, I did. Well, that was part of it. Yeah, it's like he asked me to do the announcer voice at the beginning and the end of the track.
Yeah, dude, I was so pumped when I heard that. I was bummed.
I know because
yeah.
I didn't realize. So I talked to Marv yesterday.
Slipped my mind.
And he was like, "I can't believe you didn't talk about Double Dusted on the minisode." And I said, "Well, I thought that was coming on a later album." And he said, "No, dude, that was on that album." And I was like, when he sent us the link, I downloaded the tracks, right away when he sent it. So he keeps updating it, and I didn't get any of the updated versions. So I never realized that Double Dusted was on that. I have a copy of Double Dusted because he sent it to me after I did that piece for him. And so the death is that I didn't realize that Double Dusted was on the album, and it was a total wasted opportunity, and I didn't even talk about it on the minisode, man. So that was it. And
okay. Yeah, no, I ended up just buying the album off Bandcamp, so I listened to it.
Yeah, but Double Dusted, so he asked me to do the announcer voice at the beginning, so that was sort of the nugget there. And then the death was that I didn't realize it. And he pointed it out yesterday. We were on the phone when I was on my way home from work, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, that was on the track." He goes, and there was a pause, and he goes, "You're dead."
That's great.
So anyway, shout out to Marv for that death. Just as the last thing about that album is that Double Dusted was not just because I did a piece on it. That was my favorite track on that album.
It's a good track.
I just loved it. It was so great, man.
It's really good, yeah.
Anyway, on with the show.
I think we're all dead for not bringing that up.
I agree, man.
Yeah,
we
totally.
are all dead for not bringing that one up. That was terrible. That would be an MDK, man. Murder, Death, Kill.
It's worthy of that.
It is totally worthy of an MDK.
I can only say this in my defense that, the Stallones are so prolific and their shit is so dense with really clever and amazing shit that,
yeah.
If you go from front to back listening to an album, you're bound to forget something. Like you're bound to miss something that's just really awesome. And you just got to rewind and re-listen and re-love because there's a lot there.
Definitely.
You're bound to miss one of your co-hosts in their song.
You're bound to, yeah. Well, I didn't miss it. I remember I heard it, but I just, like, by the time we talked about it, it had slipped my mind.
That's it.
I'm really sorry about this.
Did you guys pick up right away that was me?
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
Of course, I recognize your voice, man.
I mean, I've listened to hundreds of hours of you, bro. Like,
I didn't know Kev was
maybe others
be on
might
the album.
not.
Why didn't you say anything? Actually, is what I thought when I heard it. That album has been like on repeat. It's made it out into my circle of friends, and everybody's loving it. And it's kind of, as I predicted, becoming the album of the summer, which is great. So kudos to the Stallones for their Herculean, prolific efforts, throwing tons of amazing music out there all the time. I can't wait for the next one because I know I'm not going to be disappointed. Like, they just don't disappoint.
No doubt.
I agree. I've been, I usually have time for like 2 Stallone's tracks or two music tracks on the way home from work. And it's, I usually throw on the Stallones. In fact, I always do.
It's awesome.
Anyway, on with the show. Benny, you didn't see this movie either, right? Because I had never seen this. I know I've never seen it now.
Yeah, I realized that I'd never seen it. I know I've probably seen bits and pieces of it at some point in the past. Mm-hmm. Just, cable, what have you. But
Cable. Cable, it happens.
I don't remember anything about it, so it's safe to say that I have not seen it. Yeah.
Okie doke.
High level, where were you guys at with it? 2 noobs.
Ben, you go first.
Okay. I have a couple of thoughts. One, there was entirely not anywhere near enough Halle Berry in this movie.
Fair enough.
There was just a tease of Halle Berry, and that I didn't know what was going to happen, and I was pissed off from the point where she exited the movie.
Yeah.
So that's strike one. Strike two is, and it's not. I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is a proper strike or not. But I really wanted to like this movie. There was something I really liked about the chemistry between Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis. There was something good there between them, but there was something so. And this is something that I kind of like about the movie and something that I kind of don't like about the movie. The writing and the dialogue is so over the top that I found that delivery was spot on sometimes. It was just literally the words they were saying that was what I was disbelieving.
Like it was too funny or what?
No, it was just too on the too quippy, or I don't know. I don't know how to explain it really, but it was just too on the nose or something, I just I totally bought the delivery from our friend Bruce Wilson or a new friend Damon Wayans. I bought it, but it just, I don't know, it just seemed crazily out of place in some circumstances. You guys feeling that at all? Or
I know where you're coming from there. Yeah.
I know exactly where you're coming from because that's how I felt about Black Rain.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from here, but I like this. I like the humor in this. It was like a on rails ride for me, I guess.
Yeah, it's not to say that I didn't like it. It just kind of, I don't know, took me out of it.
Yeah, that's fair. Was there a third strike?
No, it's got 2, which is why it's not a complete and total failure.
Okay, that's good.
It's just if I had one, it would be that the movie, it's one of those movies that seem to have 6 endings.
Yeah. Yeah.
They spent a lot of time in the final act, going through one thing and then going to the next and then going into the next and then going into the next. So by the time the movie was over, I was like, oh, well, okay then.
There it is.
Yeah.
The classic end of a Die Hard movie where there's cops everywhere and Bruno's wrapped in a blanket or some shit.
Exactly. That's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's reasonable.
Fuck you. If the cops weren't here, I would spit on you.
I thought that was just the best.
That's pretty good.
The best final resolution of the cheating wife.
It was a good callback.
It was great because he didn't just go, oh, yeah, now we're back together again, baby. There was a huge tragedy, and now we're back together.
I love you, baby.
We made it through. Everybody's alive. I love you. I so didn't want to see that. And I was so blown away when he was like, yeah, if all these cops weren't here, I'd stab you through the brain. Awesome. That's what she deserves.
I mean, I've seen this one a couple dozen times, but obviously looked into it a little bit here for the first time, and evidently, to your point, Act 3, like, it was production hell, and this was supposed to be a completely different movie, as a lot of these movies we revisit are. But it was like fucking Face Off, John Woo, the whole third act was on the water or some shit, so I don't really know what the hell happened here, but this is what we got.
I'd love to see the original script made into a film. You know?
It sounded pretty dark, I guess. But.
Yeah, it did. I think, all right, so are you done, Chad? Or?
Yeah, man, go for it, high level.
I think, first and foremost, okay, so for me, I always thought the name was stupid. I was like, Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans, like, I'm a fan of both, but I was like, that's not chocolate and peanut butter, dude. That's like chocolate and mud, you know, like, no. Like, it seemed dumb, and I was like, I'm not watching that. So I didn't watch it. And then I watched it the other night, and I absolutely loved every single minute of this movie. This movie, to me, the second it started, I was like, this is a noir film. Like, the story, the dialogue, like, so nearly everything that happens in it is a throwback to, like, a great old noir detective story. And I was so blown away by that. As I've mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of that. We did a lot of stories like that on the other show that I did, you know, adapting audio dramas, and a lot of them were like that. And I just thought it was great. Like, it was a classic noir story in every sense of the word, I think, almost to a fault. Like, if that's what he was going for, I think if people didn't like it, that's probably the reason why, you know? I mean, there was a couple of, like, annoying things, like, you know, crusty Bruce Willis wakes up in a car with a dead squirrel on his face, and then he crawls into his office. I don't know where I was. You know, like, I get it. Like, that stuff's, you know, kind of like, you know, but the rest of it, like, finding the dude in the closet in the beginning, and then the car blows up, and we're off and running on a detective story, you know, and it was great. I didn't really think that Jimmy Dix, the character, needed to be there, but he was there, and it was fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think they played up the buddy comedy part of the story, you know, so it didn't get annoying in a classic buddy cop comedy sense. And it just kept that kind of noir detective feel throughout the whole thing. And I loved it, man. I was like, I just couldn't believe how good it was. I was like, I can't believe I never watched this movie. It was just awesome, man. I loved it. I thought Bruno was great in it. I think it was like probably, I don't know, one of his better efforts, maybe. I don't know. You know, like, yeah, I was bummed about Halle Berry, you know, especially when we get to see her amazing glutes in that bar scene, you know. It's like, why did she have to die so quick? But didn't really bother me that much because I was focused on, like, the entirety of the story. Like, even the music was very, like, had like a noir feel to it, and it was super, super cool. So anyway.
Wow. If I make it through this one, I'm going to dance a jig.
Yeah, totally. It's such a Bruno thing to do and say, though, and I loved it. It was like, it's so in character for him as a human. Evidently, the writer Shane Black, what was one of the dudes that you were talking about with the noir stuff? Really famous writer of noir.
Raymond Chandler.
Yeah, Raymond Chandler. So evidently, like, one of his inspirations and heroes is Raymond Chandler. So, like, I could totally see where
there you go.
Plain as day, obviously, based on your expertise in the genre and picking up on all the cues, but I'll give you my high level real quick and then just shift gears a little bit. Like, at my high level, this is like an on-rails fun action buddy cop, like, of the era, of the genre, towards the tail end of the buddy cop kind of thing. Really loved it. Loved the comedy. Like, I think the on-railsiness of it, like the amusement park ride-ness of it, excuses all of the quippy, on-the-nose, too clever by half dialogue, so I just never had an issue with it. Plus, I was young when I saw it, so therefore I wasn't sophisticated enough to give a fuck. I was like, boobs and guns, you know, like, duh, teenager, you know, like, I was just a fucking young moron. So, you know, any younger action-y kind of person of our ilk would have enjoyed this back in the day if they happened to have seen it. But I feel like the opening sequence for me really just like sets it in motion, where you've got like the fucking stupid Friday Night Football music video, and then you're like, this is a goddamn football movie? What the fuck? And then the dude pulls out a gun and just pops the dude, and it's just like, all right, dude, I'm in. Whatever this is, I'm fucking in. You know, like I feel like that's a really great setup.
Night's good enough for football.
Totally. I just love it. I don't know how you feel. It was just so unexpected. I was like, holy shit, dude. The dude just fucking blew his brains out in the end zone. Like, I don't know. It's just pretty. Maybe it's cliche now, but I still love that scene.
Maybe it is, but it had a level of brutality to it, and it was something that you just never saw it coming. So it very like you could see that the Shane Black Lethal Weapon kind of DNA in the movie.
Yeah,
Lethal Weapon's great because I think that's more like funny in the buddy cop kind of way, but like it's also very serious too, and there's some very like serious characters, man. And Shane Black writes really good villains, man, like Mr. Joshua, Gary Busey, and Lethal Weapon, and Taylor Negron was just demonic in this movie, dude. He was awesome.
He was really good. I really liked him in this.
You thought he was dark and Nothing But Trouble. Watch this one.
Nothing But Trouble, the Brazillionaires?
Yeah, exactly.
We are the Brazillionaires.
What were you about to say, Benny?
No, I was just saying Taylor Negron was really good in this.
Oh, man, he's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so in keeping with our new sort of let's not spend an hour on nuggets at the end of the show, I was very surprised to see that the guy that played Cole, the football player that had the gun on the field that shot himself in the head, is Billy Blanks of, everybody knows who Billy Blanks is.
Tae-Bo, bro.
Tae-Bo, bro.
Pretty awesome.
I couldn't believe it. Billy Blanks.
I love it. I saw that nugget too. That's a snipe, and it's hilarious.
So good, man. So, Taylor Negron was just diabolical in this movie.
What did you think of the first scene, Benny? Did you find it plausible or good or bad or ugly? Surprising, maybe?
I don't know that I thought it was tropey. I'd never actually seen anything like it, but at the same time, it kind of falls into that category of just too big to believe. That makes sense.
It does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like the amusement. Maybe that for me was like it set up the amusement park ride. I was like, okay, we're going somewhere weird here. Maybe that was it for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then what do we have? Squirrel in the car. That was pretty funny. I liked the little kid screaming. The closet scene. I liked the way that they set up. Like I feel like you're touching on it earlier, Kev, where some of the pacing kind of just it sets things in motion. Like. He gets the phone call about the job. It cuts to the dude with the stash. You see him before you see him in the closet. And it just kind of, then the car blows up. Yeah, it really kind of sets things in motion.
And when I started watching it the second time, like you can see Bruce McGill, when he's talking on the phone the first time, it's like it's really tight around, his sort of like his top of his chest and his head. But you can see the curtains are the same from the bedroom.
Right. I didn't pick that up.
So if you're clever and you're watching, you can kind of piece it together. Anyway.
Totally. To the Halle Berry point, I guess this is one of her first films. So now looking back, it's a shame that there wasn't more Halle Berry. But I guess at the time it was such a bit part that I guess they wanted Grace Jones for that role, which would have been interesting. But Halle Berry it was.
What?
And she was quite a stunner, man. Holy shit.
Good God. She still is, man.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt.
So much.
Yeah. She was still a noob, man. This is one of her first movies. Here's another, like, there's another crappy movie that came out the same year called Strictly Business with Tommy Davidson from In Living Color. And she was in it. And it was one of those movies that just, like, it would be on HBO or whatever, and I just ended up seeing it way too many times. But yeah, this were like two of her very first things. Jungle Fever, same year, and then like, A Different World.
And they do kind of do the Psycho thing where they kill. I mean, I guess in Psycho it was killing off a star, but they kill her off pretty quick. Like from a pacing point of view, like I get that it kind of sucks that we don't see more Halle Berry, but on the other hand, it like kind of kicks the movie into hyperdrive.
Yeah, it does. when she appeared, I was like, okay, well, as much as I hate the damsel trope, I'm glad it's Halle Berry. And then they just offed her.
Yeah, she just got blasted.
I was like, what?
Well, it does eliminate the damsel trope at the same time, which is kind of cool. You know what I mean?
In that respect, it's cool, but you know, it's dumb. It's not a service to Halle Berry at all.
No, definitely not. A classic beauty.
Just a quick throwback to the kind of first couple of scenes where maybe this is a bits and bob, but I'm just gonna do it anyways because I'll forget. Where
a proto bit
where the mustache dude calls him up with a job and he's like, "You got any plans?" I'm thinking about smoking some cigarettes. I just love some of those quippy lines. And he's like, they're really good cigarettes. You know, he's just got some really fucking funny bits, man.
Yeah, dude. I just like a commentary on the dialogue for a second. Like, we've seen that type of quippy dialogue. We've all complained about it in various different, things that we've talked about. But this really had the kind of noir detective, kind of feel to it. Like, I feel like it was a grade above the usual trash we get. Like it worked. It was a little bit smarter. I know Ben doesn't agree with that, but like there were some stuff that was like typical, garbage, but a lot of it was like you could literally throw it. Like if you watched this movie in black and white, it would be like, you'd be like, oh, this is like every other noir film from like that era, like in the 50s,
Yeah.
So,
all right then.
Well, I mean, look, whatever. I mean, I get it. I would love to see this in black and white. Actually,
look, there are entirely too many jokes about him, like about our friend Bruce Wilson. I'm not gonna let that go.
Please don't.
There are too many jokes about him, like needing a shave, and it's like the one where, like, the detective is like, yeah, and you should probably shave. He's like, oh, I would, but if I had a razor, I'd probably kill myself thinking about you or whatever. It's just like, oh,
yeah,
I'm so on board, man.
And then it just keeps happening through the rest of the movie. Like, people keep making jokes about him needing to shave, and spoiler alert, he doesn't shave.
Folks, sorry to spoil it, but he doesn't end up getting a shave. Oh my God. Ben, look, I get it. I totally get it. I'm just saying that, like, there's a percentage chunk of the dialogue that is like stuff that I've done from those old Chandler stories. Like, we did a bunch of The Adventures of Philip Marlowe radio show from the other podcast, and a lot of this dialogue just reminded me exactly of that dialogue. So
yeah, you know what?
It was probably fresh and relevant, like when it, like in the 50s, whenever it came out, 60s, and now, 2021, and it's not feeling so fresh for you. I get it. Totally.
I mean, aside from any of that, really what's going on here is the, what we're calling it, the hard-boiled cop fatigue, I think, is still real from Black Rain. And
yeah, Black Rain was tough.
It shape-charged my vision of this and in a bad direction.
Totally.
Pun intended, man.
It was the Black Rain was the C4 in the trunk of my
yeah.
The C4 in their shit brown Buick
rolling down the hill.
Hatred bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
There were those two explosion scenes, man. The C4 one, and then the shredder cartridge in the fireplace. They were like the most implausible action explosions ever, but I'm kind of okay with them.
I didn't think the explosions themselves were implausible. I thought that, like, Bruce Willis, like, oh, hey, we got to dive now. Like 2 seconds before it blows up, that was implausible. That would have sent him flying, like, a long way.
Yeah. If you could blow up C4 with a bullet, it would have melted their fucking faces off. But the fact that you can't light C4 with a bullet is kind of what I find hilarious.
Yeah, it's that last minute, like, super, like, cutting it super close, like getting away from the explosion kind of stuff that is like I think it's a hallmark of our Bruce Wilson movies.
It really is, man. I mean, just look at the ejection seat in Die Hard 2, man.
The ejection seat in Die Hard 2, exactly. The same thing, like, oh, I didn't know that grenades had a 20-second fuse.
Yeah, right.
It's just some of that trope, though. I love it.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there.
I think just to kind of close out my thoughts, anyways, on the dialogue stuff is like, I kind of see this as an action vehicle for a stand-up comedy routine. You know, like it's like it kind of like Damon Wayans comes in. This is at the peak of In Living Color. Like he's like, he's gonna be like, I want there to be funny shit in this. You know. And
I want to make an action movie.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay. That's a pretty good Damon Wayans, bro. I'm kind of okay with the excessive comedy because it's just like it's like the tits and spears genre that's taken off in the last 15 years, where it's just like you know what you're gonna get. You know, there's boobs and battles, and this was like comedy and action. You know, I don't know.
Wait, what's this tits and spears genre that I've apparently been missing?
Yeah, it's actually a new segment on this show, Ben. It's called Tits and Spears.
Tits and Spears. It's Troy. It's Game of Thrones. It's fucking all of the like, I don't know, Spartacus-y bullshitty.
So it's just a better name for Sword and Sandals.
Yeah, exactly. Tits and Spears. Yeah, but I think it's a better name for Swords and Sandals because like you gotta admit that boobs are a huge trope in these things.
You must take this magic spear and go to the place where the gods will sacrifice everything.
Yeah.
I will need to see your boobs first.
Please show me your breasts.
We'll need to see your breasts first.
But it's like, that's all it is boobs and mayhem murder. But whatever.
Spears. Buckets of blood. Blood.
And I feel like that's nowadays, and this was back in the day, the action comedy stuff.
Were there a lot of boobs in this movie? I don't remember there being a lot of boobs in this movie.
No, there's not a lot of boobs in this movie, but we get Halle Berry's buns, and that's it.
Which is, all you need, really. But
yeah.
I was very happy for that, and, love me some buns.
She does that little peekaboo thing with her ass. Like she does like an Ace Ventura sort of, I'd like to ask you some...
I'd like to ask you another question.
Ask you some questions, right? Yeah, she does that. It's pretty funny.
So great, dude.
Strike that from the show.
So good. Sorry, Chad, we kind of bulldozed over you talking.
No, that's okay. Comedy, like Damon Wayans, bro. Like, it was nice to see him in a movie, period. I was in love with him as a comedian from In Living Color. In Living Color was my shit when I was a kid. We all talked about it at the lunch table and shit every whatever day
Homie
after that came on. So
Anton the Bum.
Yeah, man. Like In Living Color is just fucking so in my wheelhouse. I love it.
So good. It was so good and so underrated.
And yeah, I just he's a great pairing to old Bruno. Bruce Wilson.
I love how hard Ben is leaning into my Bruce Wilson's freaking death.
I mean, dude, we did a goddamn week of fucking episodes about our hero, Bruce Willis, and you fucked it up. I love it. It's great.
I know, dude.
No, Damon Wayans is really good in this, with the exception of falling off a bridge onto a car and getting up and making a comment about, as much as I love the name drop of Super Dave.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. The Super Dave name drop, like, while cheesy, I love the Super Dave name drop. But what? The fall over thing wasn't funny or what?
It was just, I don't know.
Same old.
A little, yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, all right. Okay, then. You just got thrown off of a bridge onto a car.
With your sweet jacket that you stole from Halle Berry.
Birds, like, the only thing that was missing were, like, cartoon birds flying around his head.
Yeah, exactly. And like Roadrunner at the top of the bridge. Meep, meep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you should have stood up and said, Wile E. Coyote, super genius, and then fell down.
Exactly. I did enjoy the tasseled jacket that he clearly stole from Halle Berry's striptease show.
Yes. Yeah. He had some kind of interesting fashion choices in this.
The leather pants,
his little red hat,
funny.
$650 pants.
I'll drop a nugget here where one of the goons that threw him off the bridge was James Gandolfini.
You son of a bitch!
I am impressed with that nugget.
Well, there you go.
You sniped my nugget.
That's all someone could wish for in a nugget.
You have just turned me into a Thermian with your nerdery.
I love how Ben's doing Thermians. I'm doing Schwarzenegger. It's a team up that needed to happen.
I love how, like, for the first time in the history of Nuggets, you guys, like, actually responded in a way that makes me really happy. Like, normally it's just crickets. But
good.
I feel really good.
Fascinating.
I'll say it again. You son of a bitch. You sniped my nugget.
Well, there you go.
That was my nugget.
Happy to snipe it.
Let go of my nuggets.
Let go of my nuggets.
Yeah.
Go, Benny, go.
Yeah. Stop squeezing my nuggets.
Dude, you got a little bit of a, like, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon here with Shane Black being the writer. I completely had no idea that he was the dude in Predator.
Yeah, he's great.
My hatred is diminishing by the minute knowing that it's Shane Black.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, of course.
Good.
Of course.
It's so Shane
Yeah, that was one of my nugs. Not a surprise, though, because we just, like a year later we had... This was the inspiration for Lee Donowitz being exactly like Joel Silver, to just drop a couple of behind-the-scenes nuggets. This is a Tony Scott movie, in case anybody didn't know that. Not you guys, the folks at home. And a couple of Tony Scott, and Joel Silver kind of people were in this movie, like Gandolfini and Rick Ducommun, who was also in Die Hard. He made that appearance as the utility worker.
Mm-hmm.
So... yeah, there were some similar threads there, and Tony Scott disliked Joel Silver so much that he made Lee Donowitz in True Romance exactly like Joel Silver, played by Saul Rubinek.
I feel like that's one of the best ways you can shit talk somebody is to, like, make a dickhead character about him in a movie.
Totally.
It's so good.
Immortalize him on film, dude. Yeah. It was great.
It's perfect.
Anyway, sorry.
It's all good, man. What did you guys think of the...
Gandolfini nugget snipe? Yes, when he falls off the bridge, it was kind of implausible, but then he got up and he passed out, and it was like, okay. I was like, all right, I guess I can get behind that.
Yeah, whatever. I
didn't find anything... I mean, that was one of the other things that I personally liked, was that nothing was too implausibly over the top. Like, there was a couple of things that skirted it, but for the most part, it was all... pretty plausible and pretty straightforward, and I dug that.
I kind of want to say that you're wrong and that the entire movie was implausible and over the top, but
exactly right.
Pretty much the whole thing was implausible.
I mean, it was consistent.
The confidence of that implausibility is where it's at.
It was consistent in its implausibility for certain. It didn't like switch gears and try to get realistic halfway through or something. It just plodded along doing its thing.
Yeah. But I like the confidence with which you made that statement, Kev. I agree, but your plausibility meter was reading a 2 out of 10, and mine is reading like an 8 out of 10. But it was an 8 the whole way through.
Yeah, I mean, the C4 blowing, and there was some implausible but
dude blows his brains out on this end zone. Damon Wayne rides a horse into the Super Bowl and fucking hits a senator in the face with a football. It's quite a bit.
To stop a bullet from hitting him, yeah.
Bruno ends up shooting a bunch of dudes through a fucking weird one-eyed cat puppet because his daughter gave him a gun. Like, there's some pretty good stuff here, bud.
Look at this fat guy. This is probably the first time he's seen pussy in years.
Okay, look, I'm going to retract my previous statement. And
I know what you're getting at.
I've already given myself a death,
yeah.
Which I'm happy to take. That would be the implausible plausibility death.
I'm going to slip on my Reeboks and give a few squeezes to the little basketball on the tongue and get a better fit and say that it's a 9 implausibility meter.
Yeah.
Consistently through the entire movie.
All right. I'm wrong.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it just like pushed your meter a little too far.
I just got swept up in the entire noir detective Raymond Chandler vibe of this movie.
That's cool.
I'm glad. Instantly made me love it, and
I'm glad you liked it.
I
was nervous that you guys didn't.
Look, I love him. I love implausibility, and this movie was very consistent with it. It didn't give me any reason to be like, oh, well, I mean, I kind of cited the Damon Wayans thing. That took it a little bit too far for me because honestly, if you threw somebody off a bridge onto a car, they wouldn't get back up if they survived at all. They would probably be in a fucking coma. So that one definitely went a little too far for me, but I get it. Comedic, exactly Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner kind of shit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the movie kept the implausibility at a level that was just like so consistent that I didn't question it too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was pretty wrong.
But I'm glad that you enjoyed the movie. I equally enjoyed the movie.
Don't get me wrong, Kev. I love implausible plausibility.
It's all right, man. You can still come to Brucemas. It's okay.
Thank you.
What did you guys think of father-daughter? I love the daughter in this, man. She's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I did too because it wasn't a typical I never pay attention to my kid. I just smoke and sleep in my car and fuck you. And it wasn't like that. It had its own. What?
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
That was pretty good. Like not like an accurate, but you really got the spirit of Bruno there.
Oh, it was an accurate Bruce Wilson.
That's not what Bruno sounds like. That's what Bruce Wilson sounds like.
That's Bruce Wilson.
That's Bruce Wilson, dude.
It's Bruno's cover band, Bruce Wilson.
I love all the people in the family, in the Bruno family. You got Kurt Willis, you got Bruce Wilson. Great.
Lying in bed, just like Bruce Wilson did.
Nice one.
That's all right.
Yeah, so it wasn't really like that though. Like it was like there was some again, like it's a Shane Black script, like there's a good mix of depth of character and depth of story with all of the other stuff. Like I think that's kind of what's great about Shane Black's writing.
The girl was great, man. Her scene, especially like when she's not allowed to go on a date with Tommy and she's like, "You're an asshole," Damon Wayans tries to be nice. He's like, "What's that, a license plate in the back of your head?" Like, the kid is just killing it. She's like a fucking teenager. It's like the anti-Alyssa Milano Commando daughter. She just doesn't give a fuck, I love her.
Totally, dude. Yeah. Nice one.
She ain't making her dad a weird sandwich full of whatever we decided that weird sandwich was.
No.
What did we decide that sandwich was?
It was full of nuke food. I love nuke food.
Oh, and wasn't it the baby deer that they killed and ate or something? I think
it's full of nuke food.
Baby deer. Yeah, they were petting the baby deer in the opening montage.
Yeah, and then they killed it and she fed it to him.
Then he secretly slipped away and killed the baby deer.
No, dude. She secretly slipped away and killed the deer.
She kills it.
She kills the deer and feeds it to her dad, and he's really proud of her. That's what I think happened.
And he's like, "What's in this?" "Baby deer, Dad. We were petting it earlier."
"I'm so proud of you." That was the worst Arnie ever.
That was great because it was so bad. "I'm so proud of you." The best Arnie is freaking McBain.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was McBain. Up and at them.
"Here you go, all the beauty children." These are mini sacks, mini cul-de-sacs. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Mini. Back on topic.
Kate Capshaw, everybody.
Kate Capshaw, everybody, who does make an appearance in this movie as Damon Wayans.
It's a double elimination challenge.
No, tournament, dude.
I'm never going to get it right, man.
We're going to be like 5 years down the line, and he's still going to be going, double elimination tournament.
Double elimination. It's a triple elimination championship.
Did you see, Ben, did you see Rybul's message he sent us with the picture?
Nay.
Send that over.
I love our listeners. They comment with some really funny shit. They bring it. It's great.
Yeah, they do. Well, it was topically relevant, so it was that, and I wanted to give a shout out to Rybul because it was just brilliant, man. You got it, dude. There it is. Right?
Great minds think alike. I wrote back. I was like, dude, you read Benny's mind.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to we'll throw that in as the chapter art for this show.
There you go.
So everybody can enjoy it. It's a picture of Kate Capshaw arm wrestling Bull Hurley.
Strangely prescient.
Okay, now we can move on. All right, so what else do we want to talk about this movie?
Maybe Milo and the Texas football dude.
As I said, Taylor Negron just excellent villain. Like, he probably rents an apartment with Mr. Joshua. I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, you're kidding? Of course they do.
The slimiest 90s villain ever. I love him.
Yeah, he was just excellent in every way.
He's kind of an 80s villain, though.
Well, kind of, man, but I was super impressed with Taylor Negron in particular, man, because he's always done these kind of goofy comedy parts for the most part. And like, I don't know, he just like inhabited that space and it was more than convincing.
Yeah. Well, like when Bruno fucking kills that dude Chet, he's like, can I get a drink? He's like, hey, Pablo, can you please get Chet's corpse out of here and fix a drink for our guest? So great. There's so much good stuff in that scene, man.
Yeah. Well, that pool scene in particular, man, or whatever that was. Yeah, I think it was an indoor pool they were sitting by, and there was a piano right there.
You touch me again, I'm going to kill you.
I really liked how Pablo, the other henchman, was... And it really blended in with the score. And the score, firstly, was great. Total, like, very noir kind of feeling score, which I loved. But, like, the dude, Pablo, when Taylor Negron is, like, giving him shit, he's sitting there just tinkling on the piano. And it just adds into the score and the scene. And it's just awesome, man. It was one of my favorite things about this movie.
And that actor being so blown away that Bruno kills Chet, too. He's like, wow, holy shit, man, you just killed Chet. It's just like, yep. Yeah. Yes, I did.
And that guy that got greased was Kim Coates, who's he's a big, like, Kevin Costner collaborator. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's really great. And he's another guy like Taylor Negron. Like, he's played some sinister dudes, man. Like, he's really, really great actor. So it was cool to see him in that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Especially when he gets his nose shoved up through his brain by Bruno.
Oh, Jesus Christ! You fucking killed him. Yeah, I'm tempted to say that this is a good Taylor Negron movie. This it's not a Bruce Willis movie. It's a Taylor Negron movie. I'm tempted to say that.
There you go.
I'm down. I'll get behind that.
Like Back to the Future 3 is a Doc Wilson movie.
Yes, Doc Wilson.
It's definitely a good showcase of his shit. Holy shit, he's dead. He died in 2015. Taylor Negron.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'll take an ejection for that, but...
You're dead.
Oh, that's a rare C-Lab ejection.
Yeah, I don't normally eject, but I was feeling you on the Negron thing. I was feeling you on the It's a Good Negron movie. I was like, what else has he been in besides fucking Nothing But Trouble?
Didn't we talk about the fact that he died in Nothing But Trouble, though?
I'm sure we did and we forgot.
Maybe.
Oh, I didn't forget.
You didn't forget, but us two blowouts, we forgot.
Oh, but he's in Biodome.
Yep, he was in Biodome.
Oscar award-winning Biodome.
He was in that episode of Seinfeld with the BO in the car, and it got on Elaine's hair. He was the hair stylist. Yep, that's the kind of nerd I am. And then he's done a bunch of stuff.
I've seen him in so many like just awesome, memorable bit parts. And
totally,
he always brings it, man. So it's great to see him like do something that has some legs, you know,
and some meat to it.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and he brought it, man. I loved him. He was so good.
He was dark.
He was funny and scary. That's hard to pull off.
He was the kind of muscle for Shelley Marcone.
Yeah, I love Noble Willingham, man, but I really just wasn't feeling like he was an Italian mob boss, especially with that accent.
He wasn't Italian. He fucking had a Texan hat on.
I know, but he was like, his last name was Marcone. It's like, well, make a decision, man. The guy's either an Italian mob boss or he's just like a Southern cowboy hat mob boss. Like, just pick one and just do it. That was. If I had one gripe, baby, that would be it.
Right.
I'm indubitably. I'm just a simple Southern lawyer.
I'm just a simple Southern gentleman, and I am a mob boss as well. I used to be a dentist.
Sorry, are you saying he'll be a dentist? He'll be a dentist.
Wow, there was a lot going on there. I'm just a simple Southern lawyer, Shelley Marcone Esquire.
So are you gripes of Kevin, the guy's character's last name? Like, is that the thing?
Yeah, I am, because he keeps. There's numerous references to the mob in the movie, and like his last name is Marcone, which is like a total Italian mafia name, and it's like, but the guy's like Foghorn Leghorn.
So is he less plausible as a mafioso than Arnie, or more plausible?
I'll see.
Well, this is definitely a better movie than Raw Deal, so.
You reckon? Yeah. Yeah, this is better than Raw Deal. Yeah, you're right.
It is. It's better than Raw Deal. So I'm gonna say yeah, it is. And it's like, all I'm saying is pick one. Either make the guy an Italian mob boss or just change his name to something else.
Okay.
Well, my name is Shelley Leghorn.
Shelley McCall. Shelley Hatfield.
Come on over here and sit with your Uncle Shelley. That's a terrible Noble Willingham, but whatever.
He was good, man. Last name gripes aside, I liked his character.
Yeah, it was good, man. He was good. I'm not saying he wasn't great. He was great. The name thing bothered me. Gripey, Kev.
You're just saying that his character name is the worst character name in the history of cinema. That's what you're saying. Of all names ever.
Gripey, Kev.
I like it. I like it better than my attempt to out of tune sing Steve Martin from Little Shop of Horrors.
That's what I was going to ask you about. What were you getting on about the "You'll be a dentist"?
You'll be a dentist. Because Kev said he was a former dentist.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that section.
He said, yeah,
that was a lot. There was too many layers to capture at once.
He said, I'm a simple Southern lawyer. I used to be a dentist. And so I busted out Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors. I mean, you kind of got to go there, man.
There you go.
The best dentist of all dentists.
Shelley Marcone, DDF.
Exactly. It should have been, well, I am a sporting man now. That is my trade. I'm also a mob boss. I used to be a dentist.
I changed my name because it wasn't very plausible, sir.
Well, that was something from, well, you guys didn't
My
see
name used to be Doc Holliday, but I changed it to Shelley Marcone.
Formerly Doc Holliday.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Oh, goodness.
What did we miss, Kev? We missed your reference?
I don't know. Did we?
You just said something, and you're like, you guys missed what I just said.
Oh, no. That was, it was something from Wyatt Earp. I know, like, when we talked about Tombstone, that became a major point of contention.
Was that the movie we were supposed to watch that we didn't watch?
The movie that we
forced us to talk about. Anyway.
Oh, you mean Wyatt Earp, the movie that you were the only person that watched out of the three of us that we didn't get the reference
wait,
to?
Hold on.
Totally.
I'm going to do a little bit of forensic work here because I did go and watch Wyatt Earp after we tried to talk about Tombstone, and you insisted on talking about it.
Yes.
And I absolutely see what you were saying about Dennis Quaid's performance as Doc Holliday. He was very interesting and very good. I don't know if I liked it as much as I liked Val Kilmer's portrayal, but it was good.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that you got to see it, man, because I really felt like it was just so unappreciated and nobody talks about it. And I really felt like both of them were two very different and equally good takes on Doc Holliday, man. And I really think that, like, you can't knock Dennis Quaid. You know, he really put the work in, dude. He lost so much weight, and like that, it was really damn good. But anyway, the what I was bringing in was it was him that said that, not Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday. He kept saying that in Wyatt Earp. He kept saying, "I'm a sporting man now. That's what I do." You know, even though he basically was just a gambler, a drunk, and a killer. You know,
and thus concludes. We finally can put episode 26 to bed, guys.
This is exactly what I was going to say. Like 50 episodes later, here we go.
Here we go.
Here
folks.
in episode 111, we are finally putting 26 to bed.
That's it, dude. He's dancing a jig on top of that thing. It's pretty close.
It's pretty good, man. What do you got? What else is there?
I don't know. I really thought I said this before, the dialogue was really good, you know, and especially like the police captain yelling at Joe, you know, it was very, at Hollenbeck rather, like, it was very, a little bit cop action movie and a little bit noir, like a noir film. And I really enjoyed that. Like, I'm tired of sweeping up your dead bodies, like just there's some really great lines like that in there. Like every time he came in, he was screaming and busting his balls.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
And then his second in command was like, like they all respected him because he was a Secret Service guy. Like that's what I liked about the movie. Like there was good, like the story was good, and it was, he wasn't just a bummy idiot. He was like, he used to be a Secret Service agent, man. He saved the president's life. Like, I mean, he's not a dickhead, he's just whatever.
Jesus, he's just
jaded. There you go. Jaded.
He is a dickhead, but he's a dickhead with a good backstory.
Well, and he's got a good heart too, man. Like, I mean, that was the other thing too. Like, I always thought the title of this movie was really stupid. And then
I wish the sky wasn't blue.
And then when we
wasn't wet. I wish I didn't still love my wife.
Well, yeah, there you go, man. It's like he still loves his wife even though she cheats on him. And like I said, like I hated the title of this movie like for years. I was always like, that's so stupid, man. But then when you find out like why it's called that, like it's actually really great. Like he writes it on the football card of the daughter of the last Boy Scout, and I was like, oh wow, dude, like that's really cool, because he is like that.
I like how Bruno will fucking stab a dude with a pimp hat in the neck with a glass bottle in an alleyway and then be like, don't bring drugs into this house to Damon Wayans, It's so good.
Yeah, no, he is like a Boy Scout like that. Like that's why it's legit. Like it makes it legitimizes it and it validates it and it makes it cool.
Yeah, no doubt. If you didn't have the Secret Service stuff in here, it would have probably been fine, but I definitely think it was a super cool layer.
No doubt, dude.
And the way that they kind of trickle that out, too, with the senator beating some poor woman in the bathroom and him just fucking knocking teeth out. And then, so at first you're like, oh, okay, that's what happened. And then you get the presidential stuff. And then, like you said, you get the second in command guy trying to shake his hand or whatever. Like there's this, it wasn't just a single reveal.
No, it wasn't just it wasn't just a pile of shit. And the senator was played by Chelsea Ross. I think that's the guy's name.
Perfectly played by that dude.
Totally. That guy's in a whole string of movies in the 80s and the 90s. He's a great actor. He had a great part in Above the Law, which we have not done yet, but we will.
Above the Donuts.
He's the slimiest dude ever.
Sorry, Above the Donuts.
Above the Bearclaw.
No, it's Ben. It's Above the Law because that's the one great movie that he made before he got into the box of donuts.
Above the Claw.
Nah, dude, it's Above the Bearclaw. Yeah, it's Above the Bearclaw. Yeah. All right, dudes. Do you want to bits and bobs it?
Yeah, I don't have any bits and bobs. I'm all set with that.
Rock on with your bad self.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to shout out the death by helicopter. It's pretty fucking ridiculous. Speaking of 9 on the improbable scale.
Yeah, implausibility scale. Yeah, you're right.
But it's fucking pretty, like, it's pretty awesome, man. He like karate kicks him off the gantry and then the dude gets shot to shit and falls into a helicopter. Like, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And just absolutely absurd. Totally.
It's just ridiculous. Just
it was.
Pure
I feel like I
ridiculous.
should take another death for even suggesting this movie
that there was flaws.
Because you're right. The more examples you bring up, the more of an idiot I realize.
And then maybe like the other bit, maybe the bob to the bit is the Shelley Marcone taking the wrong briefcase and then being like, he took the wrong briefcase and like cracking up. And then there's like the worst fucking double exposure explosion in the LA background or whatever.
That was awesome.
I'm surprised it didn't freeze frame on them at the end. It was so good.
Golly, I hope the cleaners weren't there.
So that's it. Nothing overly amazing in the bits and bobs territory, but just a couple things we didn't quite get to.
I think all the bits that I've already said it all. I thought that this is a great noir-y kind of movie, and I really like the score too. But I already talked about that. So
maybe the gore. Like I liked that it was a bit
properly gory.
Yeah, they didn't fuck around. I guess they cut it down like crazy. It was NC-17, but I just thought there was enough. Like it didn't cut away when people blew their fucking brains out, but it wasn't like horrible either. It's just a little bit of gore in there. Kind of worked.
Yeah. The fact that our buddy Bruce Wilson and our new buddy Damon Wayans were walking around with exploded ketchup packets on their face for the entire movie, it was, I thought, kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
Totally.
Like, by the time they get to the puppet scene, like, Damon Wayans has this, like, weird, like, T-shaped, like, cut on his face that just totally looks unrealistic. I was like, what?
The 70th time they've applied the same makeup, and they're just so sick of it.
I was literally wondering, like, what is that? And I was like, oh, right, he fell on a car, so he got fucked up. Like he's got a scar on his face now, or he's got a cut on his face. But, like, this, the way it was, like, not stitched or attended or it didn't have a Band-Aid on it or anything, and it was just, like, you know, this weird little, like, cut with, like, blood still dribbling off it somehow, you know? Like these guys came in and out of a hospital without, like, getting proper... They came in and out of a police station, at least, without getting proper medical attention.
No doubt. No doubt. Had a fucking stick of C4 blow up in their faces, but they're all good.
Yeah, Bruno had some really interesting shit on his face for most of the movie.
And the daughter, too. What happened to your face? Like, this is how I normally look.
His nose is too small, and his eyes are beady, and his ears are too big.
Yeah, man, totally. Nuggets. So the nugget I thought that... I was hoping I could get out before you sniped me is there is a micro cameo by somebody in this movie. Like, micro cameo.
I have one too,
but
so let's see who gets it first.
Oh god, I'm hoping that you didn't. I'm hoping that you don't know this because it'll be better. But we get to see friend of the show Al Leong in this video for
snap, yes,
like half a second.
Yep, that's not my nugget. So there's no sniping, but yeah, go ahead.
Lethal Weapon is being watched by the daughter in the ice cream scene, and Al Leong is in that scene. That's right.
Super cool. I like that. I read that nugget too, and I was like, that's awesome, man. So there's another micro cameo, and that would be Morris Chestnut plays the kid in the locker room in the beginning of the movie.
Who's Morris Chestnut?
Just look him up. You'll see his face, and you'll be like, oh, right. He's been in a million gazillion.
In the locker room? What's in the locker room?
The football locker room, like in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, he's been in oodles of stuff.
I had the Billy Blanks one. This one is all over the place. Like, you can read it and see it everywhere, so this is not going to be a surprise to either of you guys. But the original title for this movie?
Go.
Die Hard.
What?
You didn't read that? Oh, that's so good.
No.
The original title for this movie was Die Hard. Joel Silver asked if he could take the title for a little project he was working on called Nothing Lasts Forever, which eventually became Die Hard.
Wow. That is cool, man.
Well, as well known as that perhaps is, I missed it.
Good. I'm so glad.
That is how you nugget.
That is how you nugget, folks. I have two other small nuggets.
So they say.
Very funny. Such a dick.
Your small nuggets are legendary.
Legendary, yes.
What was the Damon Wayans? He's like, I need to go to the bathroom and give me a hand. A doctor told me I can't lift anything heavy.
All right, so my two nuggets are the daughter was in Marked for Death, Steven Seagal.
Ooh.
Which I like. Very everybody Kev's kind
Marked
of
for donuts.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Marked for donuts. And the other one was that there were exactly 102 fucks given in this movie.
Yeah, man. Funniest thing about that is that I swear so much that I didn't even notice how much was happening in this movie, and I kind of like that.
Chad, I can't hear your swearing. I'm swearing too much.
I'm swearing too. Yeah. Yeah. You know you've got a problem when you don't even notice.
Exactly. Okie day. So, deaths?
Deaths?
Just 4, mostly me. I'm sure maybe I missed one. My horrible yet awesome Bruce Wilson death. Then implausible plausibility part 1.
No, the murder death kill came first.
What was the murder death kill would be? Yeah, you're right. The murder death kill would be the none of us realizing that Double Dusted, or none of us talking about Double Dusted, right?
Yep.
And then we got implausibility part 1, and then Chad, you ejected on Taylor Negron, and then I had the implausible plausibility part 2 death, and that's it.
Benny didn't die.
Benny didn't die.
Well, I did, but
you did because you didn't show up for work.
Exactly.
Oh, I want to take a late show death by rewinding to Nuggets and say that Chelsea Field, who was Bruce Willis's wife in this movie, auditioned for the role of Janeway in Voyager.
What? Is that an ejection death?
No, it's not. I had it in my notes.
Let's see. Post-coital nugget.
Interesting.
You always got to throw the Star Trek ones out there for you too. It's like catnip.
Yes.
Totally, dude.
Totally. Jarhigo and Movie Nip.
Ratings?
Yep. My rating is 8. I loved this movie. I loved the noir feeling, and I think it was a really good Bruce Wilson movie. and I didn't really feel like Damon Wayans' character. I didn't really feel like it needed to be there, but it worked. It was good. That's it. And I liked seeing Halle Berry's buns. That was it. Done.
There you go.
8. Next.
Look, I'm glad I talked to you guys about this because my attitude about it was clearly jaded by just watching Chocolate Rain.
Yeah, I know.
And the whole fact that I miss that this is a Shane Black movie, it all makes so much sense to me, and I actually like it so much more. Like all the dialogue, everything. Like the like awful joke in Predator that Shane Black makes about the geez, you got a big pussy.
Yep.
Like this movie, this is like the movie version of that joke. Like it's just it's got the same quality to it, and
nice.
So
that's a great improbability rating.
It sort of is, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've just by talking to you guys about this, I've kind of turned around and changed my mind about it, which I think is really cool. And I'm going to go with an 8 as well at this point. I kind of want to watch it again.
Nice.
Give it its proper due. Yeah,
I love it. Give it a year.
I started watching it again. It was on Tubi or Tubi or whatever that thing is.
Dude, it's on HBO, I think. Like I watched it on, yeah.
Well, there you go.
So for any listeners out there,
I'm so glad, man. I was kind of worried you guys weren't going to dig this one, so I'm glad.
Yeah,
you liked
loved it.
And I'm glad you retroactively liked it, Benny.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt at the end of Black Rain. I was definitely way warmer to it for sure.
After the show, yeah. For me, this is in the algorithm. It's an algorithm 8, which is a mid 5, so it's a 5.7.
Okay.
Good. In the neighborhood, I can't justify it beating Die Hard with a Vengeance, for example, and I certainly can't justify it beating Beverly Hills Cop. So those are above it.
Definitely.
Below it are Taken, True Lies, and RoboCop.
I don't know if I'd put those movies below this movie, but I get it. I know,
but I did.
That's why it's called My Algorithm.
This one's definitely got some nostalgia juice for me.
Yeah.
Because I saw it when I was a kid, so there's definitely some of that going on.
That's what I was going to bring up. I was going to ask you if this one had like some special nostalgia sauce on it for you, Chad.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's definitely got like the Demolition Man style of nostalgia sauce. So there's bonus points for the nostalgia.
Is that nostalgia juice like garbage juice at the bottom of a garbage bag? Is that what that's like?
Yeah, kind of like the garbage juice. Yeah.
It's the juice that maggots are birthed from. Yes.
There you go. Maggots are birthed from.
It has a special smell all its own.
Yummy yum.
Yeah, I liked it. I like this movie. I guess one of the things that I like about this movie, and I think one of the ways to describe an element of the nostalgia is it's great to be able to see another Bruno movie when Bruno's in his prime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A good one, too.
Like, if this movie was made today, it wouldn't be as good, And
this is just 2 years after Die Hard, dude, so...
Yeah, exactly. He's in his fucking prime. It's just like another... It is another Die Hard movie for me. Like, it fucking the name of the movie was Die Hard, like it's a Die Hard movie.
Kinda, yeah.
It's like a Die Hard, Lethal Weapon love child with some comedy.
It's kind. You know what it is, Chad? It's kind of like the Galaxy Quest of these movies. You know how man. Galaxy Quest is like the 7th Star Trek film or whatever. Like this is definitely like the 5th Die Hard movie.
I mean, it's better than half of the Die Hard movies, that's for sure.
Oh, sorry, wait, there were 5 Die Hard movies. Sorry, it was like the 6th Die Hard movie.
Yeah. So, yeah, I dig it. I totally get how it wouldn't, stack up on your algorithm that way, but it's an algorithm 8. It's a great movie.
Die Hard meets In Living Color with some bad Prince jokes in it.
There you go, man. It's an algae 8.
Exactly.
Algo 8.
It's an algae 8. Yeah. Stallone's 5 and algae 8. Okay. That's awesome. Me.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Let's see here. C-Lab Forever. What are we doing next week?
Next week, we're doing a noir hard-boiled detective movie.
Great.
Oh, fucking awesome.
Now we're doing Akira next week.
Nice. Excellent. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Akira next week. Animated classic. Thanks for joining us on Last Boy Scout. And
shout out to Pyburn, who requested Akira, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Pyburn.
Dude.
Here you go. We love you.
Epic listener, Pyburn.
Epic listener, epic request. Ja, Pyburn. Okay, that's it, folks. This is fun for us. We love you. Blah, blah, blah. Goodbye.
See ya.
Ciao.
And that's going to wrap up this week's episode, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Please support us. You can do so on Patreon. Patreon.com/EBD podcast. There's many tiers to choose from. You can also rate us and review us on iTunes. Leaving a review is very powerful. It lets other people know what they might be getting into with our show. So please do that. Also, tell some friends to check out the show. We really appreciate it. And it's really powerful and really important. You can find the show notes for this episode in your podcast app of choice or at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/111. As always, follow us on social media. We're out there. We use the handle @EBD Podcast on all social media platforms. We spend most of our time on Instagram, so join in the conversation there. Thanks for joining us for The Last Boy Scout. Hope you enjoyed it. And please stay tuned next week for the animation mega classic, Akira. So long for now, folks.
Beady, beady, beady. Stop into it.
The Rolling Stones are out for vengeance in today's drive-in feature. Double dusted, 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 dusted.
X's in effect, motherfucker, quite effectively. Face the facts, couldn't trace my tracks with a basset hound, stencil set, satellite, or any adjacent act. The Axeman, envision the imposition is with expertism, arisen from myth, and I'll be bringing them just the facts, man. Take command, run my rake through the sand, and dare you to saddle back your seahorses in this vacant land. Guided by the eye in the sky, it's what they give a society bias equals MC squared, take your crew and divided by pi and fly. Let your light and fry your supply, dark respect the light of my eye, with the sight of a cyclops, bubble optical eyes, on optical lies, top of the lines, go back to bed, the clock sees as I rise and up, philosophize Socrates. I like my ice cream chocolatey, chicken mixed with broccoli. I spit that rocket science round the clock, you ain't a rockin' me. Even if you touch the top of Kilimanjaro, come along on a harrowing journey through tomorrow. Led by the orthodoxer on his very last man, with Stallone's engraved across the very vast of the masthead. In effect, watch us wreck it till it's rusted. All true resurrected, and our sound is double dusted. We don't trust it, cause we know that you're cold frying. Don't come in the mic, or we'll beat you like you stole shine. In effect, watch us wreck it till it's rusted. All true resurrected, and our sound is double dusted. We don't trust it, cause we know that you're cold frying. Don't come in the mic, or we'll beat you like you stole shine. I'm having Rizzuto. So cram that up your crack like a diaper in a sumo. Fat kid status at the buffet, cold munching, $1.50 to the speakers, the Stallones ain't bumping. So all you ass bags, quit dry humping my vibe. I got poetry for your ovaries, I'm busting inside. From the Bronx to Tijuana, Nick Moore the piranha, swimming through the murky waters to slaughter prima donnas. This B-boy got that pink sparkling in Nemo. Take your head off and just down your neck like Dr. Detroit. Backhand decoys, I occupy the zone. I'm a rugged Also resurrected. And our sound is double dusted. We don't trust it. Cause we know that you're cold fine. Don't come near the mic or we'll beat you like you stole sign. And in effect, watch us wreck it till it's rusted. Also resurrected. And our sound is double dusted. We don't trust it. Cause we know that you're cold fine. Don't come near the mic or we'll beat you like you stole sign. Like your soul's iron.
Right here on Channel Sly.